What folklore creature do you think really exists? New York City sewer alligators. In the early 20th century, small alligators as pets were apparently a popular thing among kids, and when they started to get too big, parents allegedly disposed of them by throwing them down the drain/into the sewers, like dead goldfish. I can totally see them living off the massive sewer rats and growing to be a decent size, and a dark, dank, muddy environment like the New York City underground seems like a viable habitat for them. They were also the inspiration for Doc Connors from Spider-Man. New York also has a large subterranean homeless population from which people disappear but aren't reported as missing all the time. Megaconda. It's just a really big anaconda, and since those snakes grow continually throughout their lives, I wouldn't be surprised if some have, in the past, gotten over 50 feet or more. There are unconfirmed sightings of anacondas around that length actually. The problem with confirming these things is that you would have enough people, and strong people at that, to hold it out all the way extended and measure it, or you would have to kill it somehow before it got away. So like, basically impossible. Just hold a wireless mouse against it as it slithers past, then measure how far the cursor moved on the monitor. Or you can knit a sweater for it. If the sweater fits, that's your measurement. If not, then knit a new sweater. Might not be new to most people, but the jackalope actually does exist. Technically, the jackalope is a North American legend, a rabbit with antlers. In reality, it's a rabbit suffering from a virus that causes weird growths on its head. Can confirm. It's a papillomavirus, similar to HPV in humans, but for whatever reason bunnies are more susceptible to having it go haywire. If you look up the tree man, that's an example of the virus going haywire in humans. If you look up the tree man, life is disgusting. The Wulva. Scottish werewolf, except it wasn't a shapeshifter, was never a human. Said to be peaceful as long as it was left alone. Helped lost travelers, and was known to leave fish for poor families. Was almost certainly just a guy with hypertrichosis. The orang pendek. It's a small bipedal ape supposedly inhabiting the rainforests of Sumatra. A group of scientists even claim they have distinctive footprints and hair samples, but it's not really confirmed. If it exists, edit. Fixed name. Mokelmbembe. A sauropod that lurks in the massive jungle/swamp/rainforest in Central Africa. Spent way too long scrolling to find this. The Congo Basin has so many remote areas. If a large cryptid did exist, it would be the best place. I lived in the Congo for a bit, and my father was a bush pilot. You could fly for hours without seeing any sign of life. Planes go missing there all the time. Just crash into the jungle and the jungle swallows them whole. They told us that if you plane crashes, you better hope you die on impact, because any sign of you will be gone by sunrise. The Pauke of Maori myth. Or at least, it did exist. We've got fossils. The Maori killed off its food supply. Edit. It's the Haast seagull. Most of the ocean things I wouldn't be surprised by. Considering coelacanths were thought to be extinct until relatively recently, I think it makes sense that there's all sorts of crazy shit down there that we might never discover. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Also Mothman, just because I think it's hilarious and too ridiculous to be fake. If Mothman did exist, it would be fucking terrifying. If I found out Mothman actually existed, I'd nope the heck out of this life. I would not be terribly surprised for us to discover a North American ape or monkey living in the deep woods, but I will be shocked if it is more than 2 feet tall and 50 pounds. We humans are unbelievably bad at estimating size and distance. Ask any hunter about ground shrinkage, and that is on an animal they love and know passionately, and spends years staring at. Someone catching a glance of something odd and remembering it huge is not even a little unusual. There are monkeys in Florida, not native of course, but we do have wild monkeys now. We do. Rumored once proclaimed, yo, there's a cat on your mailbox. Of course, all race to the porch to see. Sure enough, there's a furry grey blob sitting on the mailbox. My other roommate just kept murmuring, kitty, kitty, it's a kitty, but then its tail dropped and curled, quite unlike a cat, and its head turned towards us. You've never seen a bunch of Florida girls hauling ass faster before, I swear. We ended up calling wildlife control, and they found it 2 houses down. It was not the first in our area, and sadly it wasn't the last. There's more now, specifically around the parks, and they are not nice. Thunderbirds. I agree. Was reading about the Argentavis, a giant extinct bat which fits the legends fairly well in shape and size. Otters the size of wolves is pretty scary for some reason. The kraken is almost definitely an extra thick colossal squid, and I want him found. https://n.wikipedia.org/wiki/deepsea_gigantism. This is probably exactly what the kraken is. I assume once your deep sea giantism gets to the point you no longer have a natural predator, the only thing that can take you down is man. That sounds so badass. Once you become so big and strong nothing can kill you, man will. Nature, nothing can take down this gigantic creature that's evolved for hundreds of thousands of years to be the top of its food chain. Caveman, hold me grog. I guess all my countrymen are still asleep down in the southern hemisphere, so no one's posted it. But the minimum lights are definitely something real and more than just something you can blow off. Yowies are also probably out there, along with other things. Australia, same as Canada, is so big and so uninhabited that, at least to me, it's really not that hard to accept that there are things out there that we don't know about. I mean, for all we know, maybe these creatures are subterranean and are rarely on the surface. Wait, are minimum lights those lights that appear out of thin air in the distance? Because we have the same legend here in Argentina, just with another name. The bad light for a direct translation. Yeah, the legend is that they lead you to your death if you follow them basically. I've always called them will-o-wisps. The two I think are most likely the kraken. Giant squid have finally been conclusively proven to exist in the last decade or so. It's not beyond belief an even larger variety is out there or was still extant in the age of sailing. The other is Bigfoot/Sasquatch. While the most well-known sighting/recording has been proven a hoax, the stories of them go back hundreds of years in native tribes. The description is not that far off from the Gigantopithecus that once really did exist. While it seems unlikely a sustainable breeding population of those could have remained alive this long, it's not *impossible*. We've rediscovered other species thought extinct, and the Pacific Northwest is huge and there are a lot of very remote forests. I'm a lot more dubious of this one, but these are the two that seem the most plausible to me. Edit, I've been told multiple times that the Patterson film was not disproven, so I stand corrected on that. For some reason I thought I heard he recanted it as a hoax, but I'm in error. Sir Viberman Lestrade is the one person who keeps my fascination of Bigfoot alive. That man has spent more time alone in the wilderness than most. He spent a year living in a remote cabin in Ontario and has talked about an encounter that he couldn't explain. There are few television personalities that I would trust more than Lestrade. He's a credible dude. I think Orang Pendek probably existed until relatively recently, still probably maybe extinct for thousands of years though. The stories make sense. They are widespread and common in the areas it was said to exist, and there is a fossil record for small hominids in other islands in Indonesia. So no one is gonna bring up that artist's impression on the wiki page. Felt cute might go extinct later. I'd love to believe that one day, when we have mastered the whole space travel thing, we will detect alien life on another planet, which will freak everyone out. Mass panic. Then we go to their planet for a little look and it's just a bunch of Ewoks jabbering about being adorable. But Ewoks are terrifying. They eat other sentient creatures and can fight and win over a technical superior trained soldiers. According to the legend's lore, Ewoks have magic that can completely destroy planets. So don't fuck with the Ewoks, man. Is there anything in southwestern lore that doesn't destroy planets? There's weird shit in the deep woods. I've lived in and around significant mountain ranges and some deep forests in the south. Heard bears and wolves and mountain lions calling out of the deep woods. The thought of a Wendigo or goatman scares the piss out of me. Weird shit happens when you get too deep in the forest. Man, I read that Goatman story on here, and it was freaky. That Japanese creature with an eye on his butthole that runs up to you and moons you while looking at you. Shirime, Japanese lit. Buttocks eye is a strange K with an eye in the place of his anus. The story goes as follows. Long ago, a samurai was walking at night down the road to Kaito when he heard someone calling out for him to wait. "Who's there?" he asked nervously, only to turn around and find a man stripping off his clothes and pointing his bare buttocks at the flabbergasted traveler. A huge glittering eye then opened up where the strange man's anus should have been. Just when I thought Japan couldn't top themselves with batshit weird yokai, I stand corrected. That is simultaneously the most hilarious and most horrifying thing I have heard of. Not quite as funny, but my favorite weird yokai is what I like to call the giant fire-breathing ghost chicken. https://n.mwikipedia.org/wiki/bazn. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos.